What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Gameweek 9 podcast, episode number 68. I'm joined with my co-host Karan and a very special guest. Actually the first guest we've had on a podcast, interestingly. I've had guests on the channel, but I've not had a guest before on the podcast. And since the last few podcasts have ended up becoming like just two of us most of the time, I was like, okay, let's go and get a guest. So we're joined with FPLMez, Meera. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. And I had no idea I was going to be your first guest. It's an honor. Thank you.
We're delighted to have you because you're wildcarding as well this week, so we'll be talking about that. But Karan, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. It's been a nice break from FPL. Yeah.
Indeed, but now we got to rack those FPL brains and get starting straight away into the discussion. I'm just going to bring.
It's been painful to watch all the players I own score for their countries.
Oh yes,
and not for my team. That's what's been happening.
Darwin got a goal.
Darwin got a goal.
Yes. Bruno got 2 goals.
Got an assist.
Yeah.
Indeed. But when we bring them into the FPL teams, it's a completely different story. Now, I should record this as well for the pod in Spotify. But shout out to everyone on the chat as well. Welcome everyone. Welcome TN. Let's get started straight away, shall we? So I've got the Gameweek 9 to 17 season ticker. Now, why did I take Gameweek 17? It's because Gameweek 18 we have a blank for Manchester City. So if I was to add Gameweek 18, City will just go down even more in the ticker. So until 17 that we've added. Now, in Gameweek 19 is probably the last game week before the second wildcard kicks in, if I'm not mistaken. So for those who are looking for wildcard windows, you're probably looking at Game Week 9, which is now. Game Week 10, probably Game Week 19? Or would you have another game week before that?
When's the corresponding double?
Was it 20? 21? Something like that?
I think it's 21. Yeah, let me have a look.
Corresponding double was in... Oh, it's not even added. It's not added, but it's supposed to be somewhere between 20 and 21, if I remember from Ben Krelin's tweet.
And where do we lose the wildcard?
Where do we lose the wildcard? In Game Week 19. That would
19, yeah.
Yes. Game Week 20. Sorry, my bad. 31st of December.
So before Game Week 20?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it should be before Game Week 20. Yep. So you got time until then. But I don't know how many people are actually going to be pressing wildcards come Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. And in what state of mind people are going to be when pressing those wildcards as well. And will there be logical decisions? It's a different story. So yeah, I mean, the only pro to that wildcard is you probably can target the City double and triple up on City. You maybe have a bit more information in terms of future doubles as well and blanks, because there are doubles, or in past seasons there have been doubles in like 25, 26, 27. Around that time period is when the second wildcard usually kicks in. And maybe you can play your second wildcard come Game Week 30-ish. That's the only few pros I can think about it. But the cons are also equally heavy in terms of it's harder to attack the upcoming fixture swing. You might get left behind way too late. So that's a few of the things that might have to be considered.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys a question actually around historically. When have you played your first wildcard?
Ooh. The last... Go ahead, Karan. I'm thinking still, yeah.
I have pretty much always used it in the first 5 game weeks.
Okay, yeah.
And that's been the seasons that I've done well and the seasons that I've done poorly. So
yeah,
I don't think the wildcard was a major reason, maybe. Yeah. I don't think it... I don't know. I don't think it matters that much.
No, I agree. I don't think it matters so much. It's just obviously the natural tendency is to try and leave it as close as possible to the end of the calendar year, right? Because you're going to get your next wildcard, you're going to lose it, and you're trying to plan like 10, 15 game weeks ahead at the very least. But this time round, I'm playing mine a lot earlier than I played in my last 2 seasons. So I was just curious, like, generally speaking, do you try and push it out as much as possible, but obviously pull the trigger whenever you need to as well?
This answer depends on, I think it's only valid for the last couple years, because before that, if my memory serves me right, there was no expiry date on the first wildcard.
Oh, okay.
So
Really?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Tien is in the chat. He's also played for a long time, so he should be able to
He might
confirm
know.
with me. Because if I remember correctly, I don't remember the wildcard expiring in the first season, and then you have to get the second one out. I don't remember that, unless there was only one back then. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Memory is a bit hazy in that time. But it's only recently that you had this split that came in recently. So in that recent memory, it's been like Gameweek 9, Gameweek 10. Because that's where we get like a fixture swing. And I'm like, okay, that's usually where I've played it in the last couple of weeks.
I think in seasons where like there's a very clear like doubles and blanks schedule, it sort of converges to 2 or 3 places where it makes sense to play it.
Yeah.
And
true. It's usually the second wildcard that kind of has more impact because of the fact that you have way more doubles known and everything, and so people just target that. The first wildcard is a, oh shit, I didn't start off well kind of wildcard. And you go, okay, I need to fix these things. But yeah. There you go. Yes, there used to be one wildcard.
It's either an oh shit, I didn't start so well wildcard, or like I started pretty well, so I'm just going to reset my team before Christmas.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I rarely think it's something in between.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is from TN. There used to be one wildcard for any time during the season, and one wildcard only valid during the January transfer window. Yes. That makes sense.
Interesting.
This is why I was like, I was a bit hazy on. I didn't remember the split used to be there, but I think if the one wildcard for the January transfer window was to try and like reshift your squad if any sales happened during that time, basically. But yeah, I think now the current system is way better compared to what it was before. But yeah, that's the season ticket. Anything standing out from this 9 to 17 so far that you maybe want to target?
I mean, Liverpool. For me.
Yeah, look, I didn't have Liverpool in my team. You know, I'm a Liverpool supporter, and I had no one.
Do you,
more recently
in your upcoming draft?
But I do in my upcoming draft. Yeah, but look, I think if I'm wildcarding now, a lot of people wildcarded. I imagine in game week 8 or even earlier, right? There's been quite a few, especially what we've seen on the Twitterverse or Xverse. There's been lots of wildcards flying around, but I'm wildcarding now mostly because I had a really terrible bench, and so I was relying on one player just giving me any bench cover. And more recently, I had a -2 Estupinian coming on, so I was not happy about just not having many options there. But also, I needed to reset my entire team and bring in a Liverpool player as well, just because of some of these fixtures that we've got coming up, especially with West Ham, Villa. I had no Villa players either. So yeah, I needed to reset and start planning for the swing that we're seeing. And there's a bit of a, like hold on to some of those players now. And then there's a bit more of a swing coming from 10 onwards as well, with Brighton becoming, a viable option as well. So yeah, even though that's going to be a whole other waft of rotation issues.
Yep, fair enough. I think they're mid-table right now, mainly because of that City game and the Arsenal game at 17.
Yeah.
But if you were to look at the ones in the middle, then they would probably go right up as well. So yeah, I think kind of like what you mentioned, let's actually straight away go into like your wildcard draft as well. And what we're going to do is we've got a Game Week 9 wildcard draft from you, and I've got a Game Week 10 that I've made because I'm going to be playing my wildcard in 10, and that's a potential wildcard draft. So we can kind of look at the shifts in terms of, because I think there will be a few differences when playing it now compared to playing it in 10 because of certain fixtures in Game Week 9. So let's go straight into yours, Meera. Talk us through it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, look, I won't talk too long with the goalkeepers. Areola and Turner as my goalkeeping options. Try to go for the cheapest options, basically. I've not got much in the bank at all. Like what I do at the moment, interestingly, I do have about 1 mil left in the bank at the moment, but that's mostly because I'm planning a couple of transfers ahead. So I'll come to those in a mo. So I've gone for the cheapest options with the goalkeepers. West Ham's got really good fixtures. I think if I wasn't sort of going Areola, I probably would have gone for like a Sufal or Zuma or something like that in my back line. But I've got cash in the back line there. Trippier I've sort of had and then want to hold on to, which is a bit of a contention point for anyone, trying to wildcard and trying to keep hold of, Salah, as you can see, and Haaland as well. Gabriel, seems like a no-brainer for 4.7. I brought him in at 5 mil, so I feel like I've just got to hold on to him, and it's that sunk cost fallacy as well. So I'm just going to hold on to Gabriel for the time being. Now, with my fourth defender spot there, I've actually been toing and froing between, bringing in a Spurs defender and ideally a cheap one, so 4.5 mil and under, or a Mark Gahey is the other option that I'm thinking, which means I benchmark Gahey, for their first fixture, which is against Newcastle in game week 9. And in this scenario, I've got sort of Van de Ven, playing because I've then, got Souček on the bench there. So with my mid, it doesn't seem right to get rid of Maddison, although I'm considering getting rid of Maddison shortly after game week 9. Not sure if that's going to be game week 10 or 11, but Maddison's, definitely on the chopping block. I've had a lot of people on Twitter when I mentioned that, I think on a comment or something, I had loads of people say, he's a season keeper, you have to hold on to him. Why would you get rid of Maddison? But I think it's not because he's bad, it's because there's other really good options, right? There's Bowen, there's Diaby. There's other really good options to consider. And with Brighton sort of fixture swing coming as well, I want to bring in Matoma, for example. So that's the reason why I've held on to Maddison for the time being. I've also held on to Saka. So Saka's been a bit of a question mark for me as well. I've been toing and froing between, do I bring in Bowen now? So is the best fixture, for Bowen against Villa away, or is it Saka against Chelsea away? And we know, Arsenal are pretty decent away anyway. The only problem is Chelsea's defense is not that terrible either. So, that's where I'm a little bit unsure. And then I've gone Gordon and Salah and Souček. So I've got Souček on the bench. But Souček's going to become my fifth sort of, midfielder at 4.9. He's got really good fixtures. He's playing. There's minutes there as well. So I don't actually have a problem with playing him and just kind of benching a Mark Gahey if I bring in Gahey for Van de Ven. But the reason why I've then gone with this particular mid is because, like Gordon fixture. So Newcastle's fixture against Palace is a really good one for Newcastle at home. Gordon, is playing. Will be playing, is on form, just seems like a really good enabler to have, which I probably won't hold on for that long either. And Salah's just a no-brainer to have, probably the most nailed-on Liverpool player there. In my front line, Watkins, again, it seems like I had Darwin in my team before I sort of decided to wildcard and bring in Watkins instead and not, do a 3-4-3 sort of lineup. I decided to go down the 4-4-2 or 3-5-2 sort of option. But Watkins just seems like, again, with Villa's fixtures as well, seems like a no-brainer to go there as well. So I had to make a fair few compromises for all the other players in between. And it is really tight when, you've got a low, team value as well. It's really challenging. And so this is where all the 0.1, 0.2 mil are really, really valuable. So I then upgraded my Mubama, who was, only 4.3 at this point, to a 4.5 Archer. And at least with Archer, he's going to get them, he's getting the minutes, he's going to play, maybe not for the best team or anything like that, but he's still good, decent sort of bench cover. And Sheffield have got a few easy fixtures coming up, later as well. So I think from that point of view, I'm quite happy. I mean, I think Sheffield has got Bournemouth and Burnley, is it, in game week 10 and 11? So you never know. Like if I need my bench, then at least like there's a bit of cover there as well. And Taylor, I think most drafts. Sorry, that was Taylor that I was talking about there. Archer has got Wolves and Brighton and a couple of tough fixtures now, but later on, slightly easier ones, at least for Sheffield standards anyway. Sheffield United standards anyway, should be okay. But yeah, look, I decided to keep Haaland. I've seen a lot of drafts like getting rid of Haaland, and I think I'm able to, with this particular draft, I have been banking a few transfers in already. And so, with this one, I'm thinking I will probably remove Maddison in game week 10. So transferring him out for Bowen is what I would probably bring in, and then play probably like, and this depends on if I go with Gahey or if I go with Van der Ven as well, because I could play Van der Ven in game week 10, but with Gahey I'd have to bench and play Souček as well. But again, West Ham have Everton, so I've already banked in that transfer. It then means that Brighton's fixture swing happens, and so my only real option to get over to a Brighton player would probably be like a Mitoma or any other Brighton mid, basically. And that would probably not be until game week 11. So I've already banked in at least 2 transfers up to game week 11, where then I'm like maximizing on the potential there. The only downside is obviously I've got a little bit of FOMO of not having Bowen now, but then I'm thinking, Saka against Chelsea could be a really good fixture. So that's the only spot that I'm, question marking at the moment. And it's the same with Gahey versus Van der Ven, and Palace defensively have been really good, and they've got a couple of good fixtures coming up later on, I think in game week 11 and 12, where they've got Burnley and Everton as well. So yeah, so that's my current thinking at the moment. And Gordon would only be there for about 2 game weeks, Maddison only 1 more game week or so, and then like I said, I've got a couple of transfers that I've already banked in there.
Okay. Karan, anything to say?
I like the structure of the team, and I wildcarded in game week 7 with a pretty similar, like the bones of it. The bones of it, at least, is like pretty same. Like I've got Haaland and Salah. The thing that I decided against was having Trippier, and I'm a bit duly punished. But I feel like I still think I prefer non-Trippier. I know the upside is really high. I know how good an FPL asset he is. I just think that a Trippier, Salah, and Haaland draft has one too many enablers in it for my liking. But I guess if you pick the right enablers, it doesn't matter. But I
don't see myself holding Trippier. Yeah, I don't like. I think that's the that's the tough thing to kind of almost like plan ahead as well, because if you look at Newcastle's fixtures right until the end of the year, right, they're really good fixtures right up until game week 20 or something. So it's really difficult. Other than a couple of fixtures here and there, there's good fixtures for them, and so it's really challenging to jump off. But I think I could by game week sort of 14-ish. I think, thanks for bringing it up on the screen. I think game week, actually maybe not game week 14. Oh yeah, no, maybe even game week 13, like Chelsea, Man United, around that sort of place. I could downgrade, Trippier by then. They've got Tottenham, after that. But there's still easy fixtures in there, right? So it's going to be really difficult, but I'm giving myself the option and permission to downgrade Trippier later, but hold on to him for at least the next 2 fixtures with, Palace and Wolves coming up.
So my only counter to that would be that the easy fixtures are away and the tougher fixtures are at home. But there's a world in which there's such an elite defense that they're pretty much fixture proof.
Yep.
And that's what I'm, and that would be a disaster if you went non-Trippier, and that's the sort of paradigm that eventuates.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because that's what happened last season too, right? Like Trippier, you just had to have Trippier, right? So
yeah, and I did. I had Trippier for majority of last season as well, and it's true. Like it's going to be really difficult to drop him, but I think I'm warming up to the idea of dropping him. if I start sort of looking at my team going forward and looking at some of those transfers, what does that look like? I think it's just having that option available. Whether I do it or not is a different story altogether. I think it's just warming up to the idea that it's a possibility because there are other options that are becoming more viable, better because of their fixture run as well.
Ryan, could you go back to the wildcard team?
Yes.
But the other thing is that like I would be really tempted by Simicast if I wildcarded now.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a fifth choice defender, or probably, right? Yeah, because Taylor is that fifth choice, not going anywhere defender.
Do you have any info on the Robo injury, Ryan?
No, not at the moment. Apart from the image that we've seen and it looking very bad, we have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a complete dislocation.
Yeah.
I think
at least a month of that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's probably going to be about a month if it's what it seems, based on what we know. And so we have got another international break coming up, though, right? So
not in the near future.
I think it's coming up in less than a month.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate international football. Like if there was no cricket World Cup, like I would go crazy.
Yeah. I think it's like let's have a look. Isn't it?
Oh yeah, in November. Oh no, wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the international break?
Yeah, 11th. Yeah. Game week 12. After game week 12.
That's pretty soon.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's not that far away. So we got game week 12 for us in Australia anyway, Saturday. It's a Saturday matches, like it's a evening one. So yeah, Saturday matches. But yeah, then after that,
after game week 12,
it's 25th of November. That's a big one. City, Liverpool, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So there's an international break in between as well. So I reckon I am tempted, like just to the point of Simicast, I am tempted. I'm also thinking, how many clean sheets are we going to keep as well? But there is attacking return potential there as well. And I think I would probably still definitely do it because there's
Everton, Forest, Luton, Brentford.
It's like 3, maybe 4 games, right? And it's like incredibly good fixtures, and I'm pretty sure he takes all corners from one side, and attacks a fair bit. Like, How much is he? How much does he cost?
4.4. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
How much do you have left over with this draft?
I've got about 0.9 mil.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. And there's a reason for that, right? Like if I so game week 10, I'd be I guess like from a price point of view, downgrading Maddison to Bowen. So I then make up a bit more money there. But then if I plan to bring in a Mitoma, for example, in game week 11, I'd be shifting Gordon on into Mitoma. And if I then do go Gordon to Mitoma, so I'm already missing out on, Brighton's Fulham fixture, but they then have Everton, Sheffield United and Nottingham Forest. So, I think there's 3 good fixtures there to bring in a Mitoma potentially. I really don't like that they're flagged at the moment. So Saka being flagged and Mitoma being flagged. I'm hoping that they'll just disappear by the weekend or something. But I'm thinking about bringing in Mitoma. That then leaves me with 0.4 in the bank. So it is pretty tight. So I had to think a little bit ahead with the wildcard, of course, like as we should, with wildcards, think at least like 3 or 4 or 5 game weeks ahead with what type of, transfers we want to make and with the fixtures coming up. So yeah, I'd be pretty comfortable doing that. And yeah, look, I love the shout with Simicast. I think it's a good shout. And by the time the international break comes around again, planning for, if I plan for 2 free transfers going into game week 13 or something, that gives me options to play with if I sort of get the next couple of transfers right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gabriel is a must. Like I think an Arsenal defender is a must if you wildcard now, and I think Cash is a must. And then. Yeah, I'd be tempted to go Simicast over Van der Ven, I think.
Yeah.
Just I'm the Spurs fixtures. Yeah.
I think that's a really good shout, good suggestion. And yeah, I think it's just a matter of like listening out for the presses and just seeing where things land with that with Robbo's injury.
Yep.
What do you guys think of Watkins. That was going to be my next.
You can't go without him for the upcoming fixtures, is what I think. He's a flat track bully. Oh well, not a flat track bully. I would say he's a short volume merchant. Watkins. If you look at his data, and that'll definitely back up his data because his XG numbers aren't as great. But if you look at the fixtures that are upcoming, he's definitely going to get a lot of shots, and then at least a few he might convert. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm dreading going against Watkins for that fixture run. I think it's definitely I mean the West Ham match, right? Like, what do you guys think? I don't feel like that's going to be. I reckon that could be a draw. It could be 1-1, could be 2-2. Something like that. Yeah. So, but it's the fixtures after. No, and that too with that's why I'm sort of contemplating not going Bowen now. So one of the reasons why I was quite happy that Saka dropped in price, and it seems so minor, like it's only 0.1, right? But it makes a difference for, like, now that I've sort of stepped you through some of the transfers I'm thinking about making. I mean, I could go Bowen now and not feel too bad about bringing Saka in game week 10 instead, right? For their fixture against Sheffield. But I'm thinking West Ham away to Villa. Is that really a good fixture for Bowen? I'm not sure, but it makes sense to bring Bowen in. It's just whether I do it this week or the week after.
Yeah, that's. I think it's going to be a tight fixture. Both of the fixtures are actually very tight. Even the Chelsea Arsenal one is a very tight one. The Watkins one, I think he's also a captaincy shout for game week 10 against Luton. Given that Haaland,
I think anyone playing Luton at home.
Yeah. So that could also be a case where, like, probably want him.
I mean, you have Salah playing Forest and Saka playing Sheffield as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
both also
there's
playing,
some. Yeah, there's some good. There's going to be some interesting captaincy predicaments coming up.
Yeah.
There's a question from Q, FPL Amateurs of us. So have you thought about Anderson as a Newcastle player? With stuff about Tonali coming out, it makes his spot in the side even more cemented.
What is with these players and gambling and betting against their? I did consider Anderson. That was only today when I saw that. When I saw that bit of news that came out. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I'd save even more money there. But then I guess Anderson, how much is Anderson actually? Is he like 4.5 or something?
I think 4.4 apparently.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, so even cheaper. Maybe.
The one he doesn't. I'm just looking at his expected stats now. It doesn't really have much goal or assist threat. Yeah.
He did well in preseason. Apart from that, no.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'm like when you say Anderson, it goes back to, like, I did the review video last week, and I was like, don't take too many punts.
Yeah.
And this is like one of those things. Anderson.
Don't try to be different for the sake of it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm thinking there as well. It might be a situation where I feel like Gordon is a bit more, like, reliable and safer in terms of, like, we know he'll play. We know he's good in terms of threat as well down that flank.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your now. It's very interesting that you mentioned the Trippier. You'll be taking Trippier potentially out in like 15 something.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'll show you my draft that I built, and I was thinking of actually bringing Trippier in during that game week period. Interestingly.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Because if you look at it, right, we got Crystal Palace, Wolves, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Chelsea, United in 6 game weeks, and I was like, okay, 6 game weeks. Maybe 50% clean sheet potential out of all the 6 matches. Obviously, you do get the situations where Trippier still can get bonus even though he concedes a goal.
Like Chelsea and United at home for Newcastle are pretty good clean sheet.
No, are they though? Maybe.
Like, I don't think they're amazing, but like I think they're actually pretty decent, right? Like,
yeah, I think they're good fixtures for Newcastle, but it's also because it's a home fixture and it's a big game. The onus is on them to attack, which leaves counter-attacking spaces. And Chelsea and United are both. I think they would prefer counter-attacking rather than having the ball and attacking. I feel like.
Yeah, I might eat my words after saying this, but Chelsea and United are not scoring much.
No, they're not scoring. That's the problem. But the problem is they're not scoring when they have the ball. that's the biggest problem. So
Yeah,
I feel like
I
that's,
think Chelsea are creating quite a bit.
yes,
Expected shots are really good. They just
they're not
they
finishing
just
because
happen to
Jackson
have
can't
Nicholas
finish.
Jackson up front.
Yeah, fair enough. But I don't know. We'll see. But I'll show you mine, and maybe we can compare and then kind of this thing. So now there are a lot of flags in here, and I understand that because Saka, Mitoma, bit of an issue. I've added, so I'll walk through it for those listening on the pod as well. So I've got Areola and Turner in goal. Got Estupinen, who is a question mark. We don't know whether he'll be fit by then. Matty Cash. I've got Botman as a Newcastle cover. Now I don't know if Botman will be the one, but he might actually change to depending on someone else if I can afford. And then I got Guehi in there. Now I haven't really focused too much on the defense in terms of like finding, but for me it doesn't seem like there are too many standout options in defense as well. And then I got Taylor, which almost every wildcard at this point has, because it's 3.9. Then in midfield I got Saka and Martinelli, double Arsenal, so that's a slight difference. Bowen, Mitoma, and Salah. And then up front, I've got Watkins and Haaland and Archer on the bench. Now, this has absolutely no money in the bank, which is an issue. And it's also a huge question mark over whether Estupinian will be fit by then. If he's not, I probably go Gabriel. And then I can probably move Botman to someone else because I'll have more money. If Botman's not fit by then, I have to probably look to someone else. I can't afford Dan Burn since he's gone up in price now. Unless Mitoma can fall in price before Game Week 10, then yes. But it's absolutely no money in the bank. But I guess it's somewhat similar, except for the midfield is completely different. Now, I haven't gone with Madison, and I saw Q was distraught at the fact that Madison was about to leave your team as well.
I know.
Yeah. And I removed Madison from my team. Now, I do think he's probably a season keeper and will nicely take over. But it's that short window where the fixtures aren't great. And I feel like Arsenal have better fixtures. West Ham have better fixtures. Brighton have better fixtures. And I want to target that over Spurs' one. I can probably go back to Madison if I wanted to. But for that short period of time, I'm like, I think there are better fixtures elsewhere. And I agree with you in that. Now, the reason I was thinking about Trippier in terms of trying to bring him back was to do with Aston Villa and potentially Watkins, maybe even freeing up funds. Now, it will depend on, I guess, on how they perform in the next coming game weeks, because after, let's say, 14, they got a slight tough run, even after 17, a bit, I think. But then it gets easier again for them. So they have a few tough fixtures in middle. So the question is, will another forward step up at that moment? Maybe I look to move Watkins out. Even like for the double for City when they go in like 20 or something for Alvarez or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll free up like $1 million. So maybe I'll have money to move and get Trippier. I don't know. It's a tough one to call, but
yeah, it is tough. Like I brought in Trippier at 6.5 and he's gone up to 6.9.
He might be 7.5 by then.
Yeah. Well, this is it. And that's why it's the tough kind of call on. If I get rid of Trippier in 3 or 4 game weeks time, I probably won't bring him back.
Probably,
but I might double up.
Yeah.
No, but I might double up on Newcastle defense at that point or something like later on, right? Or I just don't get rid of him at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's a tough one with Trippier because he can probably rise to 7.5 come that time, and then I'm like, I'm not getting him at all this season. Basically.
I think he had like 3 price rises in the space of 10 days or something. It was insane.
Yeah, so that's so.
Yeah, he had like 3 double-digit returns, right?
Yeah, that's
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, mental.
I don't know. It's
What's
gonna be
the Estupinian the
situation
prognosis? Yeah,
I think it says 4th of November at the moment, doesn't it, on him?
Is it?
Yeah. I think it says 4th of November. I was like thinking about because I had Walker.
Okay.
Yeah, I had Walker and I was like, do I just leave Walker in my team as a price point more than anything? And then, or even now, do I bring in Porro with the intent of shifting Porro onto, Stupinian later, but and just keep that there as a price point. But I think if it's 4th of November-ish, like that weekend, then yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what. Then Estupinan won't be in this draft as well. It'll be Gabriel who will make way.
I also really like Zinchenko at 4.9.
Yeah.
True, but I'm slightly worried about his minutes, which is a problem.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I always feel like out of that backline, he's the one player who is not fully certain. Don't you think?
I mean, I really like Ben White as well.
Yeah, but he's expensive.
Quite a bit more expensive.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. It's a tough one with the defenders. There aren't any standout options. At least I think.
Yeah, look, and this is the problem, like with
for Trippier.
I had Gabriel. Yeah, I had Gabriel like in the right from the beginning. So yeah, I've sort of chosen to hold on to him. Just seems like a really good option. And yeah, look, I don't mind benching him if I need to along the way as well. If it comes down to it. So yeah, I think Gabriel's a good shout. Like he's playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Just depends if you want an attacking defender.
Yes, that's where I was like the Estupinan shout, because he was more attacking than Gabriel. Yeah. But again, depends on his injury situation, I guess.
Zinchenko is second in baseline only to Trippier amongst all defenders.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, it's nice.
Okay,
what's his minutes looking like? I haven't really paid attention to.
He was injured for most of the season.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So he's come back though. In the last few games he's played actually a decent amount. At least enough.
Yeah, in the last few games he's gotten at least 75 minutes.
Plus, yeah, 75. Almost 75 minutes. So I think he's fine. If he can nail down his non-injury situation, he should be a good option as well. Especially the Gameweek 10 fixture against Sheffield United. Pretty good situation to be in. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Meera, after now seeing a potential Gameweek 10 as well?
I'm actually going to be shifting closer to that. So the only difference that I see, the obvious difference that I see is that because I've got Trippier, you're able to, in your case, you're able to bring in Martinelli at that price point, right? Like that's where the biggest difference is. Whereas I've opted to go for a Souček, who has like with West Ham, with their fixtures and given he's getting the minutes, he's got like 2 goals recently as well, last 2 game weeks. It just felt like he'd be a good enabler, to have on and off the bench, especially if I bring in a decent 4th defender as well. So yeah, I think that's the biggest difference that I see, but I'm probably going to end up with a similar draft by game week 11 in fact. So you're going wildcard in 10 with the, like, let's say if you were like this would be close to what I would get to by sort of 10 11 minus Martinelli because I've got Trippier. I think that's the biggest difference that I see.
Yeah, I think that's where the funds are kind of distributed. It's that if you go Trippier, then you go with a 5th choice enabler in midfield.
That's right, yeah. And you're right. Like I think, Karan, I'm not sure if it was you or Ryan who said it, but depending on that enabler, like that could be a really good pick and that could work out really well as well. So I know like I did consider Palmer as well as that sort of that 5th like mid enabler at 4.9. But I think, look, in the short term, if I had to play my 5th midfielder, then I'd want that 5th midfielder to be able to get some returns as well, or at least have a decent fixture run. But Chelsea's fixture run does not excite me. On the other hand, he is a very good player and he's trained under Pep. And yeah, so I think there's a lot of potential there as well. So I think, my 5th midfielder option could go 2 ways or both, right? It could be I start with Souček, shift on to, Palmer later on. He might not be 4.9 then, he might be 5.1, whatever, but still a good enabler to sort of shift onto. And by then, I may have more funds as well. So my 5th enabler might end up being a Gordon again at 5.6 or more, So depending on how things sort of move around, I think I'm just giving myself the best sort of options with the next at least 3 to 4 game weeks to try and bring in the players that get me to close to the wildcard draft that you've pulled together.
Fair enough. Now, Karan, you are without. So you played your wildcard. How do you?
So I played it in 7.
Yeah.
Just because the structure of my team was.
I'll bring up your team actually.
I think the bones of my team was okay, but like I had so many fires to put out that I couldn't make the moves that I wanted to make. And when I'm quite an active FPL manager. Like I take too many hits probably. But I like being able to make lots of moves. And when you have a team that always has like a fire to put out, you just can't make the moves you want to make. So I was going to wildcard in 10, but then I looked at the team that I was going to wildcard 2 in 7 and that I could get to in 10. And I thought I could do it with 3 transfers or maybe like a -4. And it's going okay. Like I had a pretty terrible game week 8, but I had a pretty good game week 7 because I sort of targeted the Luton double and I captained Morris, so that worked out.
Nice.
But then so I had Gordon and can you see my game week 7?
I got your team up. Game week 7 up.
Yeah, because I did some.
Let me bring your game week 7. I can. Give me a second.
So I punted on Richarlison because basically because FPL Review loves Richarlison as soon as you plug in some greater minutes assumptions.
Yeah.
And because Son's having his minutes managed quite a bit, sort of the thinking was that Richarlison would play like 50 minutes on the wing and then the last 20-30 minutes up front.
Yeah.
When Son comes off, because Solomon's injured as well.
So this was your game week 7.
Yeah. So I had Eze. I was really excited about owning Eze, but then he got a bad injury. So I went Eze to, and it was literally a coin flip between Cole Palmer and Enzo. I went with Enzo because I thought he was on pens, and then Chelsea won a penalty and Cole Palmer took it, and I was like, why? But yeah, I think a lot of people thought Enzo was on pens. So
yeah, fair enough. I did take the pen before that and missed it.
Yeah. Yes. So and then Richarlison, like he missed quite a lot. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, the opening 10 to 15 minutes. Don't talk about it. Yes.
Yeah, man. It was like 1.5 XG. It was insane. But I actually really like Richarlison as an option as long as he doesn't lose his spot. Because he gets in quite threatening positions.
Apart from not finishing it, he does get in a good position. He's like Darwin.
Yeah.
But Darwin now is
yeah. He's been assisting as well.
I'm a sucker for those type of players. Because in my head I'm trying to get on it before they score.
Yeah.
But then they just never score. So I'm like, what do you?
Fair enough.
And then I punted on Darwin, which I'm reasonably happy with because I think anytime you get 90 minutes from Darwin, he's a great FPL option. But yeah, I might move him on to Watkins by game week 10. Yeah. So,
yeah. It's not too far away from a potential wildcard team as well.
I'm going to take Son out. I don't think Son is worth the price. I just think that every game he's playing with some kind of injury. Like you can see it, and a lot of people have noticed it. Like I think he will come off around 60, 70 minutes every game. And I think for his price point, I don't love it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Son to Saka. I'm pretty
nice.
sure I'm going to do that. And I'm probably going to go Bruno to Odegaard. Or maybe even keep Bruno. Yeah. And get an Arsenal defender. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, go ahead, Meera.
I was just going to say, if you're holding a United player, do you not feel inclined to hold on that tiny bit longer?
This is always the problem with United.
Or at least for one more.
Yeah, so I mean, we're a shambles. I'm also a United fan.
Gosh.
We're like an absolute shambles.
Yeah.
But Bruno just puts up really good, expected goal involvement numbers every time. And the man is in really good form.
For country, not for club.
Well, yeah. I mean, Yeah.
But yeah, fair enough. I mean,
but I don't necessarily think that like someone being good at FPL option is the same as the team being good, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No,
probably in general.
that's fair. Yeah. No, I got rid of Rashford ahead of Burnley that they had last game week, and I didn't sort of bat an eyelid to that. Oh, I was so over having Rashford in the team. So yeah, fair dues. Like if you're tempted even ahead of, Sheffield.
Yeah, fair enough. I think you keep them for Sheffield, and then City, it's up to you. But if you keep them for City, then you got to keep them for the next set. Like it's just too good to ignore.
And I might do that. I might go Son down to Saka and like Dallo to like Zinchenko or something, and then and then keep Bruno. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, let's go to the Gameweek 9 fixtures now. Liverpool take on Everton at the start. We're kind of waiting on early team news. I guess this is where the Tsimikas punt and potentially could come into play if we get news that Tsimikas is starting. Do we expect Joe Gomez to kind of like take that spot instead, or are we like Tsimikas?
No,
I think Tsimikas is the absolute lock. Yeah,
Meera?
On that side.
Yeah, no, I agree with Karan on that. I think like he's definitely got that spot. I think it's just more for wildcarders, especially. It's whether like you just take that punt from a next couple of game weeks at the very least based on Robbo's injury or not. Otherwise, it could easily be, in my case, if I've got Taylor in the team as well, that's like 2 defenders that I have benched. And so I'm back to the same predicament that I had, which is, and I probably wouldn't be able to transfer him out until at least game week 12, 13 sort of thing as well, with my current sort of, fixture, like the transfers that I'm banking in at the moment.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But I'm hoping there'll be early team news on that.
Hopefully, there should be, given it's early kickoff.
I think it's a gift. I just don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
So if you're going to, I just think if I could now, I would get him, but I probably wouldn't get him a week from now.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's my cutoff point. So I probably would have 2 transfers to consider from like game week 12 onwards. So that's where if Robbo's coming back in, going into that international break at game week, 13, then that's where I'd probably use one of the transfers if I go there. Yeah.
Fair enough. Bournemouth versus Wolves. Neto, Huang, potentially against a poor Bournemouth side.
I really like Neto, the player. I just don't know if I like him as an FPL option. He's objectively a good FPL option for his price. I just think that he, it's like he has to like perform a miracle to get because he has to dribble like 5 people and like cut inside and play the perfect pass because like his teammates aren't that attacking.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I probably agree with that. Wolves.
Actually, I was just gonna say, like with Neto was the other player. Like if I didn't go Gordon in my draft, Neto was the other player that I was thinking about because I still had a tiny bit of wriggle room with the funds that I've got, right? So and he's only 0.1 more.
Yep.
And so actually, I think you've kind of confirmed my thinking there as well, which is not to go Neto in this scenario. But he was close.
Watch him score 20 points.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Ryan's gonna clip this.
Yeah.
I like Neto as a player, but not as an FPL option. Yep. Watch that happen. I think it's a good fixture for Wolves, but like I do agree with the fact that he just has to do quite a lot because Wolves don't finish their chances that they create and all of that. But you never know. Maybe it might be a good fixture for them this week, and they might get some points. We'll see. Brentford versus Burnley. As an MVM owner, do I have any hope?
This is an interesting one. I think people have forgotten Poemo too fast.
Yeah. I mean, they've only won 1 game whole season.
This is the opposite. Yeah, but I mean, I think this is the opposite of Neto. Like, I think he's like pretty dry to watch, but I think he's a ridiculously good FPL asset.
Oh,
Like,
see, I had him and I've taken him out with my wildcard, but similar kind of vibes to, Bruno Rashford. And, I got rid of Rashford ahead of Burnley. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Watch how like he will probably, get a pen or something like that. But
yeah,
I reckon Vissa might sort of come through on this one.
Okay.
I mean, I think he could play like shit, get a pen, and then get
Yeah,
like
that's
4
it.
points. So
Yeah.
that's
Fine. It's the last week he's going to be in my team. So if he can get a pen and shithouse his way to a pen, I don't care. As long as he gets me points and he doesn't miss that pen. But yeah, so I will take it. From Burnley, I should mention Lyle Foster as a decent option. This was mentioned by, I was on FPL IQ and Lucian mentioned it.
Yeah.
And he's had a good track record since he's come back from injury. And the fixtures are actually pretty good for the next coming
They
weeks.
got good
Yeah,
fixtures.
they've got good fixtures. Yeah.
So given
Is he on
how...
pens?
Oh, good question. I don't know.
I don't know who the Burnley pen taker is.
And given how very attacking Burnley are, might be a decent option for those looking at a 3-4-3 or even wanting a slight upgrade over Archer and have the funds to do it. That is. So it'll completely depend on team value and whatnot, but decent option to be honest. Now,
Ryan, do you want to,
yes.
when you talk about the games, do you want to quickly talk about how you see the games going?
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, Liverpool versus Everton. I think this is a very tight game. Like very low goal scoring. I don't see it being too.
Are you serious?
I think it's going to be a curveball.
You're going to be.
I think it's going to be like 4-0 Liverpool.
What?
Like,
no.
Yeah. Like I think this is an open, expansive Everton side.
Okay, defensively their data is not great. I will agree, but
I think Liverpool with that first fixture, right, is always a bit of a, I don't know, it's just a bit of a sticking point where it just doesn't fall, too well for Klopp and his team. And I don't know. I think Liverpool will win, of course. But in terms of like scoring, I reckon it's probably going to be like a 3-1 or something like that.
The classic Liverpool score.
Yeah.
In the last
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Watch them concede first and then 3-1 win.
Yeah. Like the motivation will be there to play.
And we should mention that Darwin. Did you see the thing about Darwin's extended travel time?
Because he just played, right?
Has that been extended?
No, so sorry. I think I'm misstating that. As in, he has a game very late into the international break.
Yeah,
which was today.
He's expected to be rested. Is that right?
Oh, is he? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Like he's already played today. 2 90-minute matches. Yeah, this week. I think over the space of like 3 or 4 days or something like that. He's already played twice 90 minutes. And they've got. Was that the last? Like when
they played Brazil today?
Yeah, I've not even looked. Yeah, it's today.
And then they've.
But he scored.
Yes, he did score. He scored a pretty good goal, actually. To be honest,
I think he got an assist as well.
Yeah. And then they play Argentina. Argentina.
That's
no, wait,
not
this is the
November.
wrong team. Yeah, that's November. Sorry. Okay, so that's it. So
I think they've played now.
Yeah, they played now, which is today. So he should be traveling back.
Oh, okay. I saw it all over Twitter.
Oh, okay, I'm not sure.
Darwin's about
but he's played 90 minutes twice though. I think that's going to be that's going to be the tough one. Whether like Klopp will bench. I think I don't know if Darwin would start. That's my because it's the early fixture as well. I think there's a possibility that he will be coming on, later. I think it depends on Gakpo as well. Like, I don't know what Gakpo's injury looks like at the moment as well. So it's not something I've looked into actually. But I don't know if you guys know more about Gakpo's injury.
Not at the moment. I think we're all waiting for press conferences, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the... Yeah, because if Gakpo's okay, I reckon Darwin will come off the bench.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's move to Bournemouth Wolves.
Gakpo labelled a doubt is the latest point.
Wait for press conference news.
Yeah. So Darwin could start as well, maybe.
Or get 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Bournemouth Wolves, are we expecting goals? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
One-sided goals?
No, I sort of think so. Both these teams are much more attacking than they traditionally are this season.
Yeah, I can see.
I think Bournemouth's
Big
manager
Dom.
is like, oh yeah. I think Bournemouth's manager is famously quite attacking, right?
Yes, he came for that pedigree mainly.
Yeah,
but it hasn't
right.
returned in results. Oh, it has returned in the expected goals conceded being absolutely horrible, but in terms of results on the pitch, not really. Yeah, fair enough. Might expect goals in this. Probably 2-2. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Around
I
that.
reckon.
Brentford Burnley has to be goals. Burnley can't defend. Or they don't. They refuse to defend. Whichever way you put it.
I don't think I mean, they just play out the back, right?
Yeah.
Like,
they invite risk.
Yeah. They invite risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Brentford haven't won a game per se, or they've won only one game and they've drawn a shitload of games.
Yeah.
They're
really missing Tony.
Yes, that is true. So are we expecting what? Low scoring?
I reckon 1-0 Brentford. Maybe.
Possible.
1-1. Yeah.
Maybe. I won't be surprised by that.
I'm gonna say 1-0 Burnley.
oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Foster getting the goal. Who was the pen taker actually for Burnley?
Yeah, we should look that.
Rodriguez.
Okay.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, fair.
Now, the big one, in terms of captaincy, Manchester City versus Brighton.
It's like a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
So Haaland definitely captain? Or do we think it's...
yeah, for me, yeah. I don't... Yeah, for sure. Like, I think Brighton are just conceding so many chances away from home. Like, I think Rodri could be back, which is a huge thing. I watched one of the other podcasts earlier this week. I think it was The Wire, and they talked about how Rodri being available, it's not that Rodri is such a creative monster. He just allows them to take risks further up the pitch, and that sounds like it makes sense.
Yep, fair enough. It does. Yeah.
So I think Rodri being back will be really big for their attack.
Yeah, massive. Yeah, I think it's like a big missing piece in that midfield, isn't it? And the side, and you could tell the impact's has definitely been there over the last couple of game weeks. So yeah.
Yep. Okay, I'm expecting goals, to be honest, and I'm going to captain Haaland. I know people have said like, he's not scoring and he's been blanking recently. Maybe there's a time to go against him, but I think this is where he comes up. At least gets a brace.
This is not the time.
Yeah.
No, this is a home match for City. So yeah, definitely not the time. I know like the Liverpool Everton fixtures very enticing, right? But
there's that curse on the opening fixture.
I know. I did this whole sort of, someone explained this to me. Like why?
The whole Gandhi curse.
Yeah. But I just think that we've historically seen Liverpool not be at their 100% with the early kickoff. And so given how many, South American players they have as well, I think it's like 4 South American players they've got out there. So is that right? Diaz, you've got obviously Darwin, McAllister, I suppose like Allison, but Allison will play no matter what. Who am I missing? I feel like I'm missing someone. No, Tsimikas plays for Greece, right?
Oh, yes.
Greek,
yeah.
Keep thinking yeah.
I feel like I'm missing someone else. Slipping my mind right now. But yeah, no, I Haaland definitely captain for me.
Yep, fair enough. FPL Roo says 4-1 to City. Maybe. Won't be surprised.
Yeah. Sounds reasonable to me.
Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. If only we knew which number 9 striker from Newcastle was actually starting.
I know.
It could be a really
good. Man, if we knew, if I knew Isaac had some minutes. He has amazing underlying stats.
Yes.
Yeah.
He would be in my draft if I knew he was getting good minutes. But no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard to say. I brought in Wilson in between my game week 1 to 8. I think I had a week of Wilson where he got that goal against Sheffield. This is the one where, I woke up in the morning and went through the list of goals. I was like, wait, what am I reading here? What? There's 8 goals and wait, what?
8 different scores.
Wilson just got 1? Yeah, 8 different scores. Very disappointed seeing just 1 goal under Wilson. But yeah, he was, injured after that. So I then, took him out from my team and brought in Darwin, last game week. But yeah, look, I think if we knew, you're right. Like, I'd love to bring in a Newcastle attacker.
Yeah.
I think Palace is a good defense and Johnson is a great keeper. So I think, I think they'll lose heavily, but it might not be too much damage.
Yeah. I think Palace have, like, even though we say, they're going to concede, but they do put up a decent performance in terms of trying to keep it low. The only thing is they don't have a striker per se properly. And this is where the Trippier, there'll be shouts for like Trippier captaincy. And I can kind of understand it. But
yeah, they have Mateta, right?
Yeah, but it's not great for Palace.
Yeah.
So maybe. And then FPL said Anthony Gordon. So maybe Anthony Gordon might get something from this. And Meera will be very happy.
Yeah, I'd be very happy. Yeah.
this is like a Trippier 9-pointer minimum.
Yeah, most likely. Like,
which is why I think it's like this is like getting interest on your bond. Like, this is just absolutely.
That's exactly it. That really is.
And it's not even 6 points because it's Trippier. It's like 9 to 15 points.
Yeah, he's just a bonus magnet, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I think if you're going to hold on to Trippier a couple of game weeks, I feel like this one is definitely worth it.
I'm skipping the Forest Luton because I don't think anyone's interested. Apart from me, who might own Morris and might want to see if I should start Morris or not in this game week.
Would you start Morris? I have Morris too.
I do have Morris. I think I might be forced to start
Morris. You should. Yeah. I think you should start Morris.
I'll probably
away
be forced.
From home?
Yeah. I'll show you my team later, but I'll be forced to start Morris. Wait and see. Chelsea, Arsenal. Now, the most likely situation is everyone's wanting to know what Arsenal players are starting in terms of Saka, in terms of fitness. But do we here? This is where I guess Meera is asking: will Saka be a good option this week, or should I go like a Bowen kind of situation?
This is it. Because look, Saka didn't play international, and so he's been rested, and he was rested against City in the last fixture. And then has had a break over the international break as well. So I think Saka's fit from, given Saka just does not get benched typically, or, he's been playing back to back, consecutively for God knows how long. I don't see him not starting, and it's a derby, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I expect him to start. I think he should be fine now, potentially. Karan, thoughts on this game?
I haven't kept abreast enough with the Saka injury, but I think Chelsea have really underperformed both offensive and defensive stats. They look like they have some nice patterns, because I've actually watched quite a bit of Chelsea this season. They just bin it in the final third, but they look defensively pretty solid. So I don't know. I'm probably say like 2-1 Arsenal.
Most likely, probably depends on if Broya is fit or not for Chelsea.
But we do see Arsenal like playing a much more defensive game away from home against the top sides. So
it looks like Arsenal have been playing better away, like as in defensively. They've been better away from what it looks like at the moment. I think Gabriel's
we saw that a bit. We saw that a bit last season as well. So there's probably enough sample to say that that's a thing.
Sheffield United versus Manchester United. Will Archer score?
Actually, quick question. Yes, what do we think from a scores point of view?
Oh, okay. I think 2-1 isn't a bad idea. I think even 1-0, I won't be surprised. For Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm thinking 1-0. Yeah.
Very low scoring game. Though. I don't see high.
1-0, 2-1.
Yeah, something like that. I don't see.
I'd be shocked to see like a blowout.
No, yeah. I don't think Chelsea are capable of getting into a high scoring game for the moment. At least not with Jackson up front. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, I don't think Jackson will play.
Yeah, that's right. I think it depends on Broya.
Right.
If Broya is fit, then he will most likely be the one to play, I think. So it depends on whether he's fit or not, because he did come off with an injury the last game week. But I won't be surprised with the draw as well, to be honest. Chelsea have been on a bit of form in the last few games, so I might not be surprised with that. But yeah, Sheffield versus Manchester United. Will Archer score? Or will United actually deliver?
Keep a clean sheet.
I know I'm starting Onana, so I better hope. What do you think?
I mean, who's playing? Is it going to be Evans and Lindelof? Is it going to be Maguire and Lindelof?
Defense is up in there. The entire defense is injured for the moment, at least until press conference.
Man. It's crazy, yeah.
We're having Liverpool season of a couple seasons ago in terms of injuries.
Look, you're having Liverpool season last season.
Yes.
Last season's Liverpool season.
In terms of injuries. So that's
I think Amrabat looked pretty good since coming in, and I think he probably makes us defensively a bit better. Evans has actually looked really good.
Funnily enough, true.
I don't know. He's like 50 years old, so like.
What do we expect? I'll say one thing. And this was I did scout the game week recorded yesterday with FPL Greyhead, and he mentioned that Sheffield United are poor on set pieces. So anyone looking for
the worst in the league. Yeah.
Anyone looking for a defensive player, maybe if Varane or I don't know, Maguire or Evans, if you get news who's starting.
Everyone's up in the air.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch any of this. I also think the only nailed United defender is Dalot.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a United win, obviously. Like I say obviously, but you
never know.
No, but look, in all seriousness, United surely have to win. I'm just kind of like preempting Ten Hag's press conference. It's like, if it's Sheffield, we've got to win. You've got to win, right? Like, isn't that what he said about Palace or something? So funny. Yeah, surely a win, but I don't know about clean sheet. Yeah, because United's away.
Yeah.
The way they play, and I don't know why he's doing this season. The way they play is like they have like three at the back, and then there's like one defensive mid who's like roaming around, and then everyone is attacking. It's like so it's inevitable that they're going to get countered and concede. Like it feels inevitable against any team. Like that's. So I mean, I don't know. I haven't really watched much of Sheffield.
Yeah, I was watching Planet FPL, and they said that United have the highest turnovers in the league. The ultra high pressing is interestingly ultra high pressing, but they also have one of the worst in terms of you being able to cut through their defense. So because of so they're getting the ultra high pressing, but they're leaving so much space at the back that teams can just like cut through and get score. So yeah, we'll see.
Like I think you need really aggressive, athletic defenders to get away with that style, and with the injuries we have, it's like we don't have those. Yeah.
So what do we expect from scoreline?
I'm gonna say 2-1 United. Yeah. I think United will probably create too much.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll go 2-1 as well. Hope for the best. Meera?
Yeah, I reckon I'm probably giving them a little bit more benefit of the doubt than you guys are as a non-United supporter, but I reckon like 3. I think they'll probably be able to do at least like 3, maybe even more. But look, it is an away fixture for United as well, so maybe 2 or 3. Yeah, 2-1, 3-1.
I can get behind 3-1. Yeah.
Fair enough. Finally, owners will be rewarded for keeping faith. So we'll see. All right, Aston Villa versus West Ham. Another tough game. A lot of wildcarders want action in like the assets, but starting off with a tough one.
Okay, so did anyone see the heat map of West Ham versus Brighton?
Oh no.
No.
It was like 10 people in their own box and then Jared Bowen. I think this will be like that. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. See, now you're sort of tempting me to bring in Bowen now versus holding on to Saka against Chelsea. That's where I'm at. You know, I'd bring Saka back, but yeah.
I would love to have both.
Yeah.
And then that comes back to your like having Trippier or not thing.
No, it's not actually. It's whether I keep Maddison right now or not. So if I keep Maddison against Fulham, right, then I can't so by game week 10, I'll have Bowen and Saka in the mid, but to the detriment of Maddison.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I was going to say was that I think that one of the Spurs attackers is the best second captaincy option because Fulham are really bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is why I decided to keep him. This one. Yeah.
Did
I'd probably just keep the Saka on penalties.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
Were you talking about like West Ham Brighton or West Ham Newcastle?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was about to rant about the way West Ham play, but asking if anyone had seen that heat map. I think this will be like that. West Ham against decent teams away from home tend to play like that, or rather Moyes does.
So this is West Ham Newcastle. Average positions. This is where Jared Bowen is.
Yeah, there you go. Jeez,
the furthest forward out of the lot.
Yeah, he's like the pointy end of their attack for sure.
Most likely, yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I kind of agree. Like others
and
don't
I think
get as
that approach does well against teams that are willing to like attack them, and then they can go over their press.
What do we expect from a scoreline? 2-2? Would it be?
I'm feeling 2-2.
I think it's like 1-0 Villa or 2-0 Villa. Yeah.
Okay.
So in that case, you probably wouldn't want to bring a Jared Bowen.
Yeah,
I would want him later.
Oh
yeah. I think definitely from 10 onwards. It's just whether 9 is a good option or not. I think I'm leaning towards just keeping Saka, and then shifting Maddison on. Unless Maddison scores like a brace or something, I'm going to be like, oh shit, what do I do now?
Yeah, that'll be a tough spot.
Yeah, and then you look at Crystal Palace up next and you're like, Yeah. Fair enough. Talking about Maddison, Spurs versus Fulham. Final game. Fulham are poor.
5-0. 5-1.
Like. I'm not even. Yeah, I think at least 3 or 4-0. Fulham's just got very little attacking potential, right?
Yeah. Do we think the loss of Bissouma though could mean that more defensive work for Maddison this week?
Wait. Bissouma's not playing?
No, he's on a red.
No, he had a red. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty big. I don't think they have anyone else that can play that position.
Højbjerg will play, but I don't know if he'll cover the same amount of distance.
No, it's not. Because Bissouma is like, he sort of like beats people in his own half and dribbles past them. And I don't think Højbjerg can do any of that. Yeah.
So that's the thing where I'm like, will Maddison get as much attacking freedom, or will he have to come for some defensive work as well?
Well, it depends on Fulham, right? Like Fulham's attacking potential is not necessarily as high. So I think if it was a different fixture, then maybe it'll be maybe. Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, Salah will probably drop in, right? Rather than Maddison.
Yeah, true.
Or maybe Skip will play instead. Something like that.
We'll have to wait and see. It's the final game. But yeah, I expect goals though in this game, most likely.
Cool. I think that's going to attack.
That's one. Yeah. All right. We'll wrap it up soon. Season team attack. Newcastle, Liverpool, Brighton, all up there. Villa up there as well, which is why I'm like, Ollie Watkins, can't avoid him with the upcoming fixtures.
Yeah.
Burnley, Forest, Sheffield United, and Fulham. Like you mentioned just now, Fulham's poor attacking at the bottom. And I'll move quickly to the defense. City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea up there in defense, doing well, but just not keeping clean sheets enough. Brentford, Everton. This is why I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know. They've just put good defensive numbers, but it's a derby. You never know what will happen, to be honest, in that game.
Yeah.
Everton are the unluckiest side in the league this season.
Yeah, they've put good numbers. They've not done it on the Premier League table.
Yeah, and Villa's sitting mid-ish or just below mid, actually.
Yeah.
But West Ham is pretty low, hey?
Yes, even more low.
That's the thing. But like Villa shipped 5 in that one game. I'm sure this affected by that. Yeah,
that's probably true. Yeah, fair enough. So that's defense. This is my team, and this is why I might have to play Morris this week, because what I will be doing is Joe Pedro will be benched for Morris. Onana will come in most likely for Turner, unless I start Turner. Nah, probably not. Especially if I want to start Morris. So
do you have the FPL site?
Yes, I do.
Just because you can see the fixtures.
Yeah, I'm starting. I'm going to be starting Turner.
Oh yeah, does he keep playing?
Who? Turner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seems like it.
Yeah, so but they signed like a really good keeper.
Yeah.
Yes. They signed a Benfica keeper.
Yeah, but Turner is still playing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out on the weekend.
That's true.
You're gonna play Onana over Turner?
Who, me? Yes. Yeah. I'm thinking about playing Onana over Turner. Am I probably wrong in that, or? I don't know, because I'm like, if I'm starting Morris, and I want Morris to score against Forest, should I start Turner in that case?
I think you've got to start Onana, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're like independent decisions, right?
They are.
Yeah.
But I feel like Onana could potentially keep a clean sheet. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on what I hear from press conferences and if I hear any defenders coming back from injury. But I will see. But my main problem is Botman. Now, I don't want to start Guehi if I can. And if Botman is fit, then it gives me the option to try and take a punt somewhere for 1 week since I'm wildcard in Game Week 10. The only problem is I don't have enough funds to be able to take a punt.
How much money and how many transfers?
0.3 with 1 free transfer. So it would probably have to be improving on Morris. But I don't know where exactly to go. Maybe,
where you'd go.
Yeah. Maybe I just
How much is Morris?
5.5.
Yeah.
So maybe I just even go like Lyle Foster against Brentford. I don't know. But that's not really a punt, I feel like. And if
can you get Morgan Gibbs-White? No, you can't.
He's a midfielder, right? Isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking about the best 1 week punt.
Oh yeah, fair. Yeah.
No, I'll have to drop
he's playing
way more.
Luton at home.
Yeah.
No,
would you not want to just drop Botman down to a burn or something?
Yeah, I probably might have to do that if Botman is out. But if Botman is fit, then I will have a 1 week punt option, which I haven't thought about yet. I was thinking about Højlund, but that involved a huge risk of taking Foden out, and I was like,
-4.
Yeah, but the -4. So it's like,
I mean, not. Yeah. Sorry, is what's his name? Avoni?
For the Forest,
no, right.
He's injured.
No, he's injured.
And I can't afford as well. Yeah.
Can't afford, yeah.
So yeah.
Does that mean Chris Wood plays?
I'm not Chris Wood.
Oh yeah, actually. Yeah,
no, it's a 1 week punt, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good point. He's only 4.9.
Yeah.
I could he's playing Luton at home.
You could. Yeah. I don't mind that.
Chris Wood or Morris? Which one? I don't know. I feel like Morris is slightly better at times.
No.
Well, is Chris Wood going to play?
Yeah, that's the next
he's
thing.
not been starting, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Morris is starting, so... And he's on pens.
Origi or Chris Wood.
Yeah. We'll see.
True. Yeah.
I'll have to think about it. But
I would just hold on to Morris.
Yeah.
I'd hold on to Morris, but and maybe take out Botman to, burn or something.
Yeah, I'll probably do something like that instead, to be honest.
Tsimikas?
I could do that.
Yeah, Tsimikas,
I could go Botman to Tsimikas.
Yeah. I'm putting him into my drafts.
Yeah. I think that could work. Or even I could just do Guehi too. Because if I think Botman is going to be fit in like the near future, because I have like 0.1 still in value tied on.
What do we know about his? I've not again paid attention to his
Botman.
injury. Yeah.
Initially, it was like a month at the time it was announced. So it's almost the end of a month, which means I was thinking he'll be back by this week.
Probably
so
soon. Yeah.
So that's what I'm waiting and seeing. So we'll see. We'll see. If Tsimikas is starting and we get early team news and Botman is still uncertain, then I might even do Guehi to Botman, potentially. Because I haven't got any price rises on Guehi, so
no.
So the latest news on Botman is that he's posted an Instagram picture with the caption "coming back stronger than ever." So people think he's going to play.
We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's my team. Then we got Karan. I'm gonna get you on straight away. What's the plan?
Can you go to the fixtures?
I can't. As in, I can't bring up yours. This thing.
Well, I have quite a few benching dilemmas because everyone has good fixtures. It's just I'm not sure if Darwin will play. I think he will, or he'll get 30 minutes, which means I'm just going to leave it. And I'm not sure about Richarlison. I think Richarlison, like I said before, I think he's a great asset if I know he's going to get the minutes. But I think he is because Solomon's still injured. Brennan Johnson's back, but I think Richarlison still gets enough minutes. So I'm benching Enzo. I'm playing Pau and Cash and Burn and Dallo. So 4-4-2.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll a transfer because Game Week 10 is where I'll be doing some surgery.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And
I have a good bench. I have Morris on the bench. So.
Yeah, okay. You do have Morris and Pau Torres, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And then Meera with the wildcard.
Yeah, so I think the only changes that I would probably make based on our conversation, and thank you guys for some of the good sort of suggestions and options as well. So look, I think Tsimikas is definitely an option, especially because I am thinking about going Van der Ven at the moment or a Guehi, but Guehi would be on my bench anyway. So I think based on any the injury news on Robbo, I'll probably have Tsimikas coming in for a couple of game weeks. I think it's a really good shout, worth sort of, risking on. I think the only other sort of player that I'm slightly concerned about whether I go now or later is Saka. Like, do I play Saka against Chelsea or do I just bring in Bowen and play Bowen against Villa? The only reason I'm still thinking Saka is just because of the pens, and also he's been rested, and it'll be I'm sure he'll probably play that Chelsea fixture anyway. I think it's just whether it's going to be high goal scoring or not. So it was interesting to go through some of the scores with you guys as well, with how we think that is going to end up. And if it's a 1-0, that could be a Saka pen 1-0, or it could be a Saka assist or goal, right? Like he's their talisman. So yeah, makes sense. But Bowen is a huge temptation as well. So, and as we saw with the chart, Villa is leaky, and so they're sitting, sort of average.
Bottom,
yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Would you be tempted by like a 1 week punt instead of Saka and then move it to Saka?
Yeah. So who do you reckon?
I mean, I don't know, maybe like a Liverpool player, like a Diaz or like a Szoboszlai or something.
Yeah, I think yes and no. So because my next transfer will probably be for Bowen, taking Saka out now means that I don't have Saka for the Sheffield United fixture. So I don't know if I'd want to take a 1 week punt type of thing on the midfield, at the moment, unless the midfield spot is a Gordon option or a Souček option. So if there was someone cheaper than Souček, that sort of frees me up a little bit of funding to maybe upgrade Gordon to someone else. I've got at least sort of 0.5 wriggle room to play with. 0.3 to 0.4, 0.5-ish, depending on who I bring in the defense. But there's not many options below 6 mil.
Yeah, that's true.
Gibbs White.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
No, he takes penalties.
Good shout. Yeah.
The thing is, I think you to keep in mind is that you need that fifth midfielder potentially at other fixtures.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. And Gibbs White, Forest's fixtures, I'm not sure.
Well, so Gordon, I'm only holding on for 2 game weeks, right? So who's Forest got this week and next week? So this week we know. Yeah, so we got Luton, but next game week Forest play
Liverpool away.
Yeah, so
you just have to make sure that he doesn't have to play.
Yeah, I'd have to bench. Yeah, I'd have to bench him for that one, and then take him out for Mitoma. Yeah. I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
We will wait and see what happens.
I know this is gonna be last minute for me, and if you guys, I don't know, like. Karan, are you in Sydney as well? Like, so like if you guys are not doing anything Saturday night, come out with us. We're going to be at Cheers. There's going to be.
I saw you post on Twitter. I just
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, bring everyone from the wedding. Yeah, I'm not joking. No, it's probably going to be last minute, deadline stuff. On Saturday night, and then. Yeah, try and catch the Everton-Liverpool match.
I'll be on a deadline stream, most likely, so might miss out. But I think everyone who can attend, do attend. It's really fun. So
it'll be good. Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, and we're officially part of the meets as well this time. So Sydney, I think Melbourne already is part of it. So yeah, it's nice for us to be part of that as well over here in Sydney.
Yep, and make sure to follow Meera for future meets announcements as well, to be honest. And so that's basically what we got. Apart from
I also forgot to mention, I love the Souček pick. I think it's a great pick.
He has the same number of shots in the box as Bowen in the last few game weeks.
He's playing 10.
Much more attacking.
Yeah.
One thing before we end, panel team. So the just to give Meera an update, panel team is supposed to be usually a risky team, and we're trying to hold the wildcard for as late as possible, which we don't know when we'll play. But this is how the team is looking for this week.
It's looking pretty good, hey?
Yeah. Now the question is, I think we have one free transfer and 2.7 in the bank as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we have wiggle room.
Oh, this is.
But for who?
Yeah, we might want to roll here, right?
No Liverpool cover though. But I guess for this week it's fine, maybe. I don't know.
But at the cost of who? Yeah.
That's the thing.
I don't really love Diaby. Like, I think Villa has great fixtures, but he's not at the end of things as much as Watkins is.
Well, we can move him to Bowen next week, probably. But we can't move him to Salah. Yeah.
No, I think now you just keep him for the fixtures.
Yeah, I think like 2.7, would you want to get rid of, like Kabore or Archer, and sort of have the option to play 3-4-3 as well?
We could.
Yeah.
And bench like Gabriel? Oh, no.
Yeah. Or even like, do we think West Ham's going to score? Maybe. Chelsea.
Kabore to Tsimikas and bench Gabriel.
Kabore to Tsimikas.
Yeah, we could do that. I could do that this week. So I'll wait for team news and just do that on that. Kabore to Tsimikas potentially.
But I think rolling is fine because the Spurs players might become people you need to shift out.
Yeah. Potentially.
Yeah, and you've already got Estupinian in the side there. I mean, you don't have a Newcastle player, at the moment. Like defense wise, that's another option as well.
Okay, so something to kind of keep an eye out for in terms of defender.
I would love to get to Isaac with the panel team, but you have 5 mids that can't be benched.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think next week we'll have to look into moving Mbeumo out, but not this week. That's the thing. So that would be, I think even rolling, I don't mind because I feel like there might be surgery happening next week.
I think the team looks really good to just roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And goalkeeper, do we start Rea or do we start Turner?
Turner.
Turner,
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm just going to save the team, Captain Haaland. But yeah, all right. Cool.
Well, actually, that's closer than it appears. Hey, because
Raya was a Turner. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still Turner.
Mm.
Yeah, it's still Turner. It's a little Turner. You can't. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We'll keep it as it is and see how things go. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you to Meera for joining us as
Thanks
our
for having
first
me.
guest for the podcast. Slightly over, but I think we still managed to cover a decent amount and hopefully gave viewers also a difference in terms of the different wildcard options and when to wildcard and all of that. And thank you to Karan as well for joining me. Any final thoughts before we end?
Thanks for having me.
No? Okay.
It's great to be your first guest.
Yeah. And then there was one question.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
There was one question from another Karan in the chat. Enzo to Martinelli. I don't know whether that's.
That's from my team.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that's for your team.
I would love to. I don't think I have the money.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. All right, I think we'll end it there. But yeah, thank you to everyone who joined the chat, and make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, because we're trying to hit 1,000. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all later. Peace out, everyone.